Hi BookTube, it's Thea, and this video is going to be wrapping up books 31 through 35 that I have completed so far this year. The first thing to talk about in this wrap-up is actually a graphic novel, and that is Chew Volume 1, Tshir Choice by John Layman. This follows Tony Chew, who is a Sibopath, which means that he gets psychic impressions from whatever he eats. So if he was to eat a hamburger, he would get the psychic impressions of the cow that became that hamburger. And for me, this volume was just okay. I know as an introduction, it's kind of, starting out the story and you're meeting who Tony is and kind of where the story starts, but I felt like it just didn't grip me and draw me into the story. So I ended up giving this first volume only 3 stars. I do want to check out the next couple volumes to see if it gets better, but I'll probably check them out from the library to see if I enjoy it before I buy the rest of them. The next thing that I read and completed is a book that I ended up liking way more than I was expecting to, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I have owned this. It has been sitting on my shelf for about 2 years, and at the time I was kind of weary about sci-fi, but I've just now started recently getting into sci-fi, so I definitely knew it was time to pick this up and read it. And also, Pierce Brown was at Phoenix Comic-Con, so I wanted to read this before I met him, and I am glad I picked it up. I absolutely loved it. It did take me about 50 to 75 pages to kind of get into the story, but once I did, I just ate up the story and finished it in a couple sittings. Basically, it follows a guy named Darrow, who lives on Mars, and his race of people are enslaved, so they're kind of slaves to this higher richer class, and his wife is kidnapped, and he has to kind of just step up and be the hero and save his people and save his wife. And it was just an absolutely amazing story. I cannot wait to continue the series, and I actually got to meet Pierce, and he signed my copy, and he was really nice. But I absolutely love this. I'm so glad I picked it up. I gave it 4 stars, and I cannot wait to see where the rest of the story goes. The next thing that I read is The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Epic Collection Volume 1, Great Power by Stan Lee. Basically, this is just a big bind-up of a whole bunch of little mini trade novels that were released from 1962 to 1964 about Spider-Man, and it's very 60s, and they just bind it all up, all these little mini trades that centers around different stories. You have you have Green Goblin, you have Dr. Oct, you have Electro, and for me this was a really good read, because the only thing that my only knowledge of anything Spider-Man related is just from the movies. I hadn't read any Spider-Man comics, and so for me this bind-up was great because I got to see a whole bunch of different Spider-Man stories, and I really enjoyed this. Some of the stories were better than others, but overall as a collective I gave this bind-up 4 stars. If you like Spider-Man but haven't really read a lot of graphic novels about him or any comic books like the little ones, this was a great bind-up for me. I know they have a whole bunch of bind-ups through different years. They collect through a certain number of years, this one's 62 to 64, and then volume 2 would be 64 to 66. So they have these big bind-ups. This we actually borrowed from a friend. I'm not sure where he got it, but they have these for all the different Marvel, a whole bunch of different Marvel characters. So this is a great way to kind of get introduced to the graphic novel scene. This would be a great way to get introduced if you only have a little bit of background, or your background's from the movies, because these are just little mini stories. It's not one continuous story where if you get a trade graphic novel, it would be one story of that particular character. These are just little mini stories of Spider-Man, and it was cool to see different villains that I didn't know, and this was just a great collection, and I got to read it in a couple of sittings, because even though it's pretty thick, they're very easy reads because the trade, each trade is only a few pages. But I did really enjoy this, and I gave it 4 stars. The next thing that I read is The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chambon. This follows Joe Kavalier, who is Jewish, and he just smuggled himself out of Nazi-invaded Prague to wind up in New York City, where his cousin Sammy Clay lives. And so they decide that they want to kind of get in on this new novelty item that's hitting New York, and that's the comic book scene. So they decide that they're going to create their own comics based on their inspired by their lives and their fears and their dreams. And I really enjoyed this. It was nothing like anything I've ever read before, and this was my first Michael Chambon novel. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It did win the Pulitzer Prize. I don't know what year, but it was perfect. It takes place in New York, which I love. It takes place, you know, it's about comic books and graphic novels, which I really enjoy. And this was just a really great read. It did take me a while to get through. It took me like 3 weeks because it's pretty thick, and I was reading other things at the time. But I really enjoyed this, and I gave it 4 stars. And the last book in this wrap-up is a reread, and that's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I am participating in the Harry Potter readathon this year, and it's this 11-week readathon where you read all the books, you watch the movies, you participate in quizzes, and earn house points. And so this was the first time that I'm going to be rereading like the whole series since the 7th book has come out. And I mean, it's Harry Potter. I don't need to describe it, but giving it a reread, I still gave it 5 stars. I just love Harry Potter, and it's been really fun. It's been really fun rereading the series and participating in the photo challenges and earning points and watching the movies after I read the books. Here are the next 5 things that I have completed so far in 2017. Let me know down in the comments below any thoughts or opinions about these or anything that you're reading. If you'd like to get in contact with me, I have all my social media stuff down below. As always, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!